Welcome back, traders, to another episode of Nasdaq100 weekly highs, weekly lows, technical analysis. I hope your trades have been going really well, and I hope many of you were able to watch the previous video to this one, which I did on Tuesday, which would have helped you out, okay, in regards to this area over here that took place on Wednesday. All right, so before we get into all of that, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Turn on the notification and drop us a like, so whenever I release a video, you'll be one of the first to see it. All right, so with that said and done, let's get into it. So on the Tuesday, when I did the recording on the Nasdaq 100, we were roughly looking at this candle over here when I was doing the recording, right? And I mentioned that there was a high probability, due to the day of the week that we was in, that that could in fact be the weekly high. I was wrong with that assessment. The weekly high came in on the Wednesday. That's it right here. So that's the new weekly high for this week. And I'm very confident of that because today is Thursday and I can't see price going past this level tomorrow. Actually, as a matter of fact, there is a situation that could create that, and that is we have NFP tomorrow, right? So this level here could get taken up. It could, right? But in my opinion, it's highly unlikely, and I'm going to explain that as we move forward. So first thing, tomorrow we have NFP, so be mindful of that, okay? It's probably going to come out around 1:30 in the afternoon, so make sure you're fully alert in regards to that move if you plan on being in the market, okay? So let me put in the weekly high. So I'm calling this level right here today, Thursday, as the weekly high, okay? So once the weekly high was locked in place, whether you realize that or you did not realize that, okay, there were a couple things that you could have done. Maybe not on the Wednesday, but you definitely could have done today, right? So first, market moves away from the new high it's created and comes down. Market taps into this FVG over here and then flies back up again. It's still a bearish candle, right? And then it continues to fly all the way down until we get to the until we get to late evening on that Wednesday, where this weakened FVG gets taken out, right? It gets taken out. And then on top of that, the low of the Tuesday also gets taken out. That's that right here, okay? So with those two moves in mind, okay, I mean, there's always element of risk when it comes to trading. There's always an element of risk that however way you call it, you could be wrong. But looking at what I'm seeing right now and the day of the week that this move happened, meaning this low being taken out over here, okay, I would have been super confident in my decision to say, hey, I believe that market is now heading down to create a new weekly low. I would have been off that concept, okay, right? So today, depending on when you started looking at the market, right? Depending on when you started looking at the market. So me personally, right, if I was trading the Nas, which I'm not, I'm doing gold, right? I normally get up to start my day around 6 in the morning, right? So 6 in the morning. So that would have been this candle right here. That would have been me. Fresh out of bed, obviously do what I need to do. So 7 o'clock, I am ready to start watching things, right? So the first thing I would have started to do, right, is I would have looked over to this side, my left, to see if I could spot anything that could let me know what may happen in the future in terms of price returning back to that zone, right? So the first thing I would have done is I would have started to spot FVG locations and I would start tracking them all, right? So that would be the first FVG, bearing in mind that I'm up around, so 7, I'm ready to start looking at the charts and everything. So from 7, I can look at all of this stuff here and pretty much be take that information on board and start assessing, right? So obviously I'm now tracking all the FVGs. All this move here hasn't happened yet, but I'm tracking the FVGs to see if anything is going to happen or if market is going to continue to fly all the way down. At which point I would want to see if I can get my hand, if I can locate some type of pullback and then join the market. So I would have set it all up like this. This is how I would have set everything up once it started to appear. I would have set everything up like this, right? And then what I would have done after I've laid all this out, so I've taken all the hourly FVGs, because those are the ones I want, right? And then I would have jumped onto the 15-minute and continued to observe the market, okay? Now, bearing in mind, two things have taken place already. The daily low of the Tuesday has been taken out, okay, and also of the Wednesday has been taken out, because the Wednesday one is over here and the Tuesday one is the lowest one out of, before we get to all here, before we get to what's taking place today, these two lows would have been important in terms of helping us determine the actual direction of market, right? So now we're on the 15-minute. I would have gone in and I would have watched it and seen price zigzag itself around. So now it's beginning to zigzag itself around 10 o'clock, etc. Now, one of two things could have happened as I was analyzing the market, right? Sitting, watching, waiting. I could have jumped in. So jump in with a trade straight, boom, market buy, right? Or sorry, market sell. And then cover this high over here, which would have been the high of the day, as it seems, at the time. Cover this area with my stop loss, right? Lock in my sell, market buy, FOMO move, right? And then wait to see what would have taken place. And the smarter move would have been to watch market as it began to push upwards. Now, once the big market began to push upwards, okay, as soon as market started to reject at this level right here, all of these zones became very, very, very attractive in terms of putting in sells, right? And that sell became even stronger when this low over here was taken out, right? So that's how I would have done today if I was monitoring the whole situation, right? Because we had a really, really, really good move in the market today. Really, really good move, right? And it would have been better if you spotted it from up here. Okay, right? So if you spotted it from up here, well done to you. If you spotted it from down here and you was able to get it down here, well done to you also, because you're in a decent amount of profit. Market is still swinging down. Everything is still looking super attractive. Okay, now another thing as well that we need to be mindful of is that tomorrow is non-farm payroll, so we've got to be very mindful of that. So I'm just going to go back to the hour real quick, right? And as we can see, okay, we have the previous week's high that was taken out over here, okay? At the end of tomorrow, we'll know if this is actually the weekly high, but in my opinion, I am fairly confident it is, okay? And we now have the weekly low that has now been taken out, okay? But the weekly low has been taken out in a way to say that it might not be going down that much. So let's just draw a level across. Okay, as we can see, if you zoom into this area right here, we can see market is looking like it's running out of steam, right? So this is the level of the weekly low, this level right here that's going across, right? And what we can see is market is beginning to run across, run out of steam. We had a parabolic that went all the way through it. Then market is obviously hovering just underneath it. And then we have a super wick to push to the upside. That there is saying that pressure is being placed on the market right now to continue in its direction downwards, but however, it might not work out, right? So now all we need to know, or what we need to kind of figure out, is if these levels will be taken out. So I will look to see if, because we have another bearish FVG in this area, I would want to see if market is going to blast through this, right? If market blasts through this FVG, right, or a market is dancing around this area of the FEG, say for tomorrow, right, then what I would want to do is I want to keep an eye on this zone right here, which is another bearish FEG, another one, right? And reason why I want to do that is because tomorrow is non-farm payroll. So whether I get in on the non-farm payroll or I don't get in, I definitely want to see how market reacts in this area. Let me just change the color to white, right? So I want to know how market behaves in this area as it does whatever it is going to do. Now, the chances of me placing a trade tomorrow is practically near zero, just because A, it's Friday, and B, I would rather wait for market to settle in what it wants to do and then start looking for moves for Monday, right? But some of you can't wait. You want to get in, you have to get in, so you're going to do what you're going to do, right? So how I would kind of position everything would be like this. This week, right, this week we've had another confusing situation in the market, in a sense that the previous week's high over here has been taken out over here, and the previous week's low over here has been taken out over here. Okay, so tomorrow, if you want to get into the market, right, you, in my opinion, you need to have a plan as to what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. All right, so that would be my recommendation to you. And once again, I'm not a financial advisor giving you financial advice. Everything you do, it's on you. So with that covered, right about now, you should be seeing two thumbnails. One of them will be on backtesting, and the other will be on the previous video to this one, where you can go and see for yourself where I called out this zone as a potential weekly high. So with all of that covered, I will see you all on the next one.